Yo, 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 whoa, 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 whoa. It's cool down here. What's up, guys? How is everybody doing? Hope you like the intro. I'm not gonna be doing that again. I kind of felt, I don't know, just felt like thin air, like nothing. I didn't know what to say when the cast started, so I kind of just did anything. But anyway, welcome to another cast here for Heart of the Swarm. My name is Promise, of course. If you guys like my casts, go ahead and click the subscribe button onto my YouTube. I've been posting a lot of Heart of the Swarm replays of these pro players. This is going to be another one of them. So let's go ahead and introduce who we have playing in this amazing match. In the bottom left side, we have a recent addition to Clarity Gaming. It is going to be KiLLeR. Moving up in ranks, man. Going from D for Dignitas up to C for Clarity. B. Can't think of a team out there right now off the top of my head that has a B. But there is none because KiLLeR is Clarity for life. Hopefully. We'll see. He's going to be the orange Zerg in the bottom left, as I already introduced. His opponent in the bottom right side of the map, Star Station. It is going to be our red Protoss player. A guy that is actually very, very talented. He has huge amounts of potential to be very, very good at this game. He's already highly ranked on Grandmaster. And I don't think he was very known in Wings of Liberty. So it's going to be ABomB. And this is definitely going to be a pretty cool game between these players. Now, if you look at the names, KiLLeR and ABomB, most people out there would say that KiLLeR is gonna win this game pretty convincingly. I mean, ABomB, I don't know who ABomB is, but he's probably really bad, and Zerg's overpowered. But that's not true, okay? ABomB is actually a very good player. So I'm gonna say that I'm not gonna say who wins because I know who wins. So that's kind of ruining the replay. But it should be a good game. So a little bit of annoyance here coming out from ABomB with the probe, trying to deny that natural expansion from KiLLeR. KiLLeR not really going to mind that, actually just going for the 14 pull into the 15 hatch. It's a little bit delayed, but not a huge deal. So KiLLeR just doing the safest build. If his opponent was going like Forge first or getting a pylon, something crazy like that, it's always very smart to get your pull before your hatchery. Not a big deal. Now back home for ABomB, it looks like, in fact, it is going to be a Nexus first. We're going to see the wall up coming up as well. It's going to be a Forge followed by the Gateway. Probe is still out, so ABomB just wants to kind of hide it, to scout a little bit later to confirm that KiLLeR is, in fact, going to be on 3 bases, so he shouldn't be worrying about any sort of early 2-base all-in from the Zerg player. But with these spots, we never know. KiLLeR can go for an all-in, like a Roach Sling all-in, like a Hydra Roach all-in. Possibilities are endless when you have these kinds of positions. Blizzard, fix it. Alright, so KiLLeR gonna go up to this 3rd hatchery, so nice little double expansion coming up. ABomB gonna finish his wall off. So PvZ, let's talk a little bit about the metagame. PvZ has always been in the later stages of Wings of Liberty. It's always been I'm just gonna say it out there, guys. It's been Zerg favored. Broodlord, Infestor. I mean, of course you're susceptible to a bunch of timings, Immortal, Sentry all-in, some sort of 7-gate all-in pressure. But that's not really how Protoss want to play in Heart of the Swarm. You don't want to be just a player focused on all-ins and 2-base timings. You want to have some sort of strategy and some way to be able to play a macro game in ZVP. So, Heart of the Swarm, of course, a bunch of new units were introduced for Protoss. The Oracle, the Tempest, which is kind of a late-game army, late-game unit to use for your army, which is fantastic against Broodlords. And of course you have the Mothership Core, which is, in my opinion, kind of the coolest new unit that's been introduced for Protoss, just because you can really put on the aggression against Zerg in the early stages of the game. So PvZ kind of switching sides. I mean, the Zerg is kind of the one that's, you know, turtling, still turtling, and the Protoss is kind of just, you know, having more options in the early game to scout and to do a little bit of you know, economic pressure to keep the Zerg up on their toes. So, look at the follow-ups here for our players. We're just going to see, as I mentioned before, the 3rd hatchery has finished for KiLLeR. No kind of gases yet. Usually you would see the gases around the 6:30-minute mark. Now, ABomB, meanwhile, is going to go ahead and show us some tech. He's getting +1. His Warp Gate obviously is on its way. Getting a Stalker to go ahead and maybe do a little bit of pressure. I mean, he already has 2 Zealots. Wouldn't be too surprised if he decides to go out when he has that Stalker popping out of the Gateway. But he is adding a Twilight Council. So, ABomB, in fact, might be going for Blink, might be going for DTs. He's adding 2 additional gateways, so at this stage, quite honestly, it can be DTs or it can be Blink. We're just going to have to follow the production tab here very, very closely, see what it's going to be. He went for +1. Maybe it's going to be for +2. There's a lot of things ABomb can do here. So, in fact, production tab, we are seeing a Dark Shrine on its way, and KiLLeR now has not started his lair yet. Does he have an evolution chamber? No, he does not. So KiLLeR going straight up to this Roach Warren. All he's really worrying about right now is just developing his economy. We see 55 drones to 43 probes. His 3rd expansion, going to start transferring over some drones to go ahead and get that base saturated. But ABomb might actually catch KiLLeR a little bit with his pants down with this Dark Shrine. But now we're going to see the Overlord scout in the main base. What is it going to see? Not going to see too much. Just going to see a gateway and a pylon. And of course, a Nexus. ABomb did not kill his own Nexus just yet. But he's not going to see the Dark Shrine. So, if we look strictly at KiLLeR's vision, he sees a normal opening from Protoss. So he does not know what the tech is. And here comes the move out from ABomb. Units count for him, where you're seeing 2 Stalkers, 5 Zealots. So we're going to see some early pressure. Zealots being warped into that 3rd expansion of KiLLeR. 3 Zealots going to try to hack away at some of these Roaches and some Queens. This is actually some really good pressure here from ABomb. But 86 supply for him, 66 supply for ABomb, so 101. Okay, actually, I got it backwards. KiLLeR has a pretty good supply advantage. He's going to get some Roaches on the map. 7 additional Roaches in the production tab. Metabolic Boost going to finish very shortly. Lair is on its way as well, so it looks like KiLLeR will actually be able to defend against this. ABomb, you know, he wants to just make sure that there's units coming out, not drones. I'm going to see KiLLeR try to focus down these Roaches. Of course, Roaches are great against Zealots. But, I mean, if you have these Zealots in the Stalker, you want to try to focus it down. But here comes the DTs from ABomb. What does KiLLeR have? Does he have the Evolution Chamber? It looks like he does not even have an Evolution Chamber. So KiLLeR is going to be in some trouble. DT going to start to eliminate some of these drones. Time Warp, I'm not really sure what that was about. But the DT maybe killed about 3 or 4 drones there. Queen's going to try to go to work on this Mothership Core. In the production tab, KiLLeR has not yet started an Evolution Chamber. This DT up to 7 kills, continuing to focus down these Harvesters. A DT killing the hatchery, and that is going to be huge, and it dies. Oh my god, KiLLeR. Stuck on 2 bases, going to have to remake this hatchery. ABomb has an advantage now. I mean, he's behind it. It's not like he's staying on 2 bases. He's taking a 3rd. He has thrown down a robotics facility. He's going to make some Immortals. He's still continuing his probe harvesting, making whatever, 56 probes to 53 drones. Infestation Pit's going to be the follow-up here for KiLLeR. So, KiLLeR, what options does he really have at this stage? He can try to come back in this game economically, but these DTs absolutely did some damage. Let's look at the units lost count. 45 units lost compared to 19. Now, the resource is pretty close for our players. You see 2,700 for KiLLeR, 2,200 for ABomb. Now here comes the push out from KiLLeR. 105 supply to 94. Is he going to have enough? Lings are going to try to surround. Upgrades, nothing finished for KiLLeR. Meanwhile, if we look at the upgrades for ABomb, +1 weapons has finished. +2 is on its way. Just now going to get started for our Protoss. 3rd expansion is up. So the longer this game goes, the worse it's going to be for KiLLeR. In the production tab for KiLLeR, we are going to be seeing a Hydralisk Den. So looks like it's going to be mainly Roach Hydra for our Zerg. Creep spread continuing to be spread for our Zerg player, but ABomb, I mean, usually against Hydras, make Colossus. Is ABomb going to even let that happen? I'm not even too sure if KiLLeR can really go kill ABomb. Supply counts are pretty even, and usually around this time in the game, the Zerg would be maybe around 150, even 160 supply. So ABomb definitely did some damage here with the initial DTs. Swarm hosts coming out from KiLLeR. So Zerg players out there, you know, you swarm host haters, make some swarm hosts and see what they do. KiLLeR is going to experiment a little bit, but in Wings of Liberty, Ultras died. I mean, you kind of made Ultras and you died because they weren't so good. In Heart of the Swarm, I kind of have a feeling the swarm host is taking over that role. If you make swarm hosts, you're very likely to lose. So we'll see what KiLLeR can make use of these swarm hosts. Of course, they're not terrible units. It's just Zerg players have not really found a way to use them in their army composition. But KiLLeR now going to go ahead and gear for an attack. In the production tab, no kind of drones. Immediately going to go into Hydras. ABomb, so many Archons Zealots and Immortals. These Immortals are going to be able to kill these roaches extremely quickly. But here's a Swarm Host. We got to see how this attack's going to go. I mean, KiLLeR is going to have a supply advantage, but the problem here is the upgrades are lacking. +2 is going to finish just now for ABomb, so this attack's going to be not as powerful compared to if KiLLeR maybe had +2 at this stage in the game. But now we're going to see the Locusts. 3 units going to spawn out now, going to kill some Zealots. ABomb doesn't really care about these Zealots. He can go ahead and die. He's going to just turn a little bit back here towards the 3rd. You can always use that Photon Overcharge ability onto the Nexus in case the units decide to go towards that area. Now we're going to see the Swarm Hosts move forward, and KiLLeR a little bit overextending here, and ABomb going to find a win of an opportunity. Guardian Shield going up. He's going to focus down these Swarm Hosts. He does have an Observer. Really good position here from ABomb. KiLLeR trying to use these Locusts, but is it going to be enough Time Warp on the Queens? And it looks like ABomb is going to have plenty of units. KiLLeR kind of all in with this push behind it, making more roaches. Well played is thrown out from Clarity Gaming's KiLLeR, and ABomb takes a pretty convincing win over the Chilean Zerg. So very well played by both players. ABomb is going to come out on top in this replay. That's going to do it for here. Wow, what was that? That's going to do it for me for this cast. Stay safe, good luck, and have fun, guys.